Now then, when I was 17, I built a science fair project. Do you know what my science fair project was? That's right. It was a free energy concept, idea, prototype. Well, it didn't work very well, but the basic principle was there regarding hydrogen from water to run to fuel an engine. In that case, it was producing hydrogen and oxygen on demand from water and feeding it into the carburetor of a car and running the car. That was the idea. Wasn't really elicited that well, but the basic principle was there in the project, and I had some diagrams which showed how the circuitry worked from a website, and then my prototype there was actually just running a regular DC current into some electrodes, very big circular cylindrical electrodes, one metallic cylinder inside another metallic cylinder with a very close spacing between them, and then that was housed inside of another cylindrical PVC container which was filled with water. So it was running an electrical current through those two cylindrical electrodes there, causing electrolysis between the very thin gap between them and breaking down the water into its separate components of hydrogen, 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen, and it was bubbling up, and then it was being vented out the top through a tube, and that tube would then go to the carburetor of the car. We did, actually, my friend and I at the time, we did feed that tube into a carburetor, and we it was an old car, I can't remember what kind of car it was, but it was an old car, and we did get the car idling, just idling on the Brown's gas, on the hydroxy. There's also another name for its 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen, which is electrolyzed from water. It's also called hydroxy or Brown's gas, or there's a few names for it. Highly combustible, very, very dangerous. It will explode in a flash, like very, very quick and sharp explosion that you get from that mixture. So we just got the car idling there. We just produced enough. However, the current that was going in, the electricity that was going in to produce the hydrogen was a little bit more than the energy that came out. So that wasn't, it wasn't a break even. That system did not break even. But that was just, to show how, you can get hydrogen from, you can get hydroxy from water. However, the diagrams which I got from the internet depicted another system which was supposedly over 100%, which was break even, okay? So I want you to be very, very clear that this hydrogen car slash water car idea, hydrogen engine slash water engine idea was the break even system, okay? So there's a lot of hype out there about, a lot of hydrogen cars out there. You can see this hydrogen car, that hydrogen car, and it's all bullshit. It's all total BS, because those are not break-even systems. That hydrogen is either produced from solar power or wind turbines to generate the electricity to split out the hydrogen. So it's using more energy to create it. It's just kind of convenient that you get this hydrogen gas, this gas, and it can be stored. So it's like stored energy, and then you can store it for long periods of time, store it in the car, and then convert it back to electricity through fuel cells, and then run the car. So this is not a break-even system. The most common when you hear hydrogen car, hydrogen this, fuel cell this, that is not break-even systems, okay? Those are just temporarily storing the hydrogen, and that came from using more energy. So it's something totally different. So this idea that I'm talking about that I did in my science fair project is like almost unrelated. It may as well be unrelated to those that you hear about. So be very, very clear that this system, which I was trying to elicit in my science fair project, was a break-even system, over 100% efficient system, okay, which was actually supposed to use resonant frequencies to break out that hydroxy gas from the water, okay? So it was something that would be self-powering and would not need more energy to go in. So, guess who was sponsoring that science fair? It was the oil company. It was, I think we only have one main oil company in New Zealand. Feck knows who they're called. If you can remember who they are, please leave a comment down there. But it was the oil company, and there was one main dude, older guy in his 60s or whatever, the chief scientist actually, okay? So I want to be very clear, this guy was one of the chief scientists who understands physics, understands the laws of thermodynamics, okay? Understands this stuff. So when I went to the ceremony, the awards ceremony for the science fair project, which of course I was, because I came third place in that one, in that science fair. My science fair project, I think, ranked number 3 out of all those. So when I went to take my certificate of attendance or of congratulations, whatever the fuck, I can't remember, before the awards, that guy, the chief scientist, one of the chief scientists, of the oil company, firstly goes to the podium and gets the attention of the whole crowd and says, "Okay, I want everyone to imagine there's no oil, there's no petrol. What would the world be like? You got no cars, you got no this, no that, because there's no oil. So you guys would all be, you'd be fucked." That's what he implied. I didn't say it like that, but something to that effect. So he said, "You guys should all just be grateful that there's oil." And no, he did actually mention my science fair project before he said that. So he said, "Oh, yes, so in the science fair there was a project regarding the fuel of the future," which actually was the name of my science project, the fuel of the future, making hydrogen. So first he mentioned that, and then he said, "All right, I want everyone to imagine, there's no oil, and you guys should just be grateful, blah 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 blah." So why would he say that? You see what I mean? So very interesting. And then when I went to collect my prize from this guy, the first thing he said when I shook his hand, the first thing he did was squeezed my hand very tightly, and then he looks into my eyes and then he says, "Not in your lifetime." And then he hands me the certificate. "Not in your lifetime." I wonder what he meant by that. Obviously he was trying to, hoard his lust for his oil and his status there in his company, and his ability to keep selling this black gold. So these people at the top, they obviously know, very obviously. So anyway, we're going to read a book here. It's called, I'm going to read a chapter from this book. The book is called The Detection of Ether, and it is by let's see here, I forget his name, by R. Webster Kehr. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but very interesting dude. He has actually a lot of books regarding anti-cancer, cure for cancer and stuff like that as well.